I got your beautiful face there on your photo, but what's up, dude?
There we go. We got it working. How's
What's
it going,
going
brother?
on? Oh man. Look, you know what you're doing. You got like the faded background look. Like
Yeah, man.
this is what happens when I interview a young man versus an old man. They're like, "How do I download this?" Like you're ready.
Dude, I live on Zoom and Teams, so this is just
It's
another
another
day.
day in the office.
That's it, man.
That's right.
How you been, brother?
Bro, man, I've been great, dude. I've been great. Got a baby coming in 2 weeks, so maybe less than 2 weeks.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
exciting. You ready?
Are you
You're
ever
you're a
ready for
pro by now, though, right?
I mean, I think I'm a pro. Well, from one kid, it's like, all right, we're straight up man to man, easy, whatever. She takes it. Two, you go into zone, and it's like, okay, well, you got zone coverage. Three, I'm like, what are we doing? A boxing one now? I'm like, I don't know how to handle this. So I don't know. I think I'm ready, but who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. No,
Who
man, you
knows?
got it.
So I'm trying to figure out because I wanted to do something right here. How do I share my screen again? Where's that at?
So the big green button at the bottom
Share screen. Okay, because I need
has
to
share screen underneath
I
it.
need to start. It's probably just do that one. I need to go ahead and start this one off by this right here. Okay, so here we go. Let's just hold it 1 second. Oh, you seeing me?
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
Here
Let's just
we go.
start it this way.
All
Let's
right, all
start it.
right.
Here we go.
Going incredible, great teams, won every event. Then Caleb Callahan came over and said, "No water for that Muhammad guy, and we're going to destroy Corbin's left shoulder." They're trying to level the playing field. I think we're still going to win. What's been a mosh pit tonight?
So let's just go ahead and let's watch that beef. Like, let's talk about this. Let's just go ahead and
Yeah,
start that
yeah,
beef.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was very evident in the first Caveman combine. There was a little home cooking going on. Take out two of our big hitters in day two, like conveniently when you were in last place. So I don't know, like
Oh,
correlation isn't always causation, but I tend to err on the side
oh.
of what's obvious.
I
Okay.
love it. I love it. So tell everybody who you are and tell everybody why it mattered that you separated your shoulder at the caveman.
So my name's Corbin Nicholson. I grew up not too far from Caleb. I've known Caleb, I guess, since gosh, it's probably a freshman in high school. We've always had uh, this brotherly competition about everything we do. If Caleb's got a Facebook post, I get the notifications. Like that's just how we are. That's who we are. That's our relationship, and I love him for it. He challenges me to be better at what I do. So first caveman combine, we were playing, we were doing the ring, and so what it is everybody gathers around you in this tribal format, and it's everybody's getting jacked up, hype, and there's a tire, and you're trying to get the other person out of the ring. First round, I got smoked. Not the biggest guy. I'd like to say I'm 5'8" on a good day. Um, First round got smoked, and I was ready to go back in there, and then go to yank on the tire one time, and then I hear this, and then all of a sudden I couldn't lift my arm up.
Oh,
So luckily we had a doc there, and he set my shoulder with the help of Buffalo Trace. So shout out to you guys. Really came through for me. And then so unfortunately my strongest event is shooting, and so just before the shooting we we realized this is gonna be hard to shoot right-handed with a
right.
right blown shoulder.
Did we tell you that you still had to shoot?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, we did. Yeah, we
There
did.
was
No,
no
no
mercy.
quitter.
It was like, no, 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 time out. He's got another arm. He still
Yeah.
had to
Well, then
shoot.
I was like, then it was like, well, okay, I'll prop it up on the table, and then everyone was like, "Whoa, hey, you're the one that dislocated your shoulder, brother. It ain't on us." All right.
That's right. It's like, no, no, no. He has to shoot like everybody else.
Because I propped it up on the table and everybody was cool with it until I did shoot a perfect score from the table. And then it was like,
Yeah,
whoa, hey, whoa, whoa, whoa,
yeah,
whoa,
yeah.
whoa, whoa. I
That's when
didn't
it
get to shoot
came.
from the table.
And I was probably the one of the ones doing that. I was like, hey, it's not our fault he tore his shoulder up. Shoot like everybody else.
Hey, we're here to win. All right.
That's right.
The rules are rules.
I'm not giving him any favors here.
That's
But
right. That's
love
right.
it, dude. That's good stuff. And so also you're a pilot, and you're getting ready
Yeah.
to go off to you know What's that whole story like? That was what I was worried about. Like, I want
Yeah,
to see that.
so
Oh my God, did we
I
just
was
ruin his
leaving.
career?
I was leaving to go to flight school. In that so that was in May, and I was leaving in July. So it was a very quick, like, I've got a good 2 months to get this shoulder to where I can do pull-ups again.
And did it work? Did you get there?
Oh yeah, I got there. The
Okay, so
first test was rough,
yeah.
and I had to grit my teeth a little bit, but we got there, got through the program. Spent 18 months down there, and we're done, man. We made it. We made it through. So
I love it. So the reason I wanted you to tell that story is I can't tell you the amount of people that are like, oh, I don't know. I don't want to come because I don't want to get injured and da da da. I got work to go through. And I'm always like, bro, we had a guy that was going to train to be a pilot that separated his shoulder. And in 2 months, he went and still did what he had to do. I'm like, so I share your story a lot. I'm like, don't give me the, I don't want
no,
to get
yeah.
injured.
Well, there's a risk in everything you do, right?
Everything. That's
If I'll be honest, little humility is good for me. I fell down the stairs going to get my morning cup of coffee today. That could have been a career ender for me, but there's risk in everything. You have a more our football coach Josh Robinson in high school. He used to always say this quote, and it always has stuck with me. He said, "If you don't want to play football because you're scared of getting hurt, and that's your argument, I better never see you ride in a car and go to school because you have a greater risk of getting in that car and getting on the interstate than you do of an injury caused by any kind of contact sport or any kind of conditioning that's going on." So that's my thought process. I knew the risk going into it,
yeah.
but
That's I feel like too we have been taught as a society to outweigh the risk or give it more weight than the reward. It's like
yeah,
what am I
right,
losing? So football, right? Like, oh, there's concussions and there's this and there's that. And I'm like, yeah, but I wouldn't be the man I am today if I wouldn't have played football.
right,
It made me who I am in a lot of ways, right? And so that's
right,
my thing. I'm like, man, yeah, is there risk coming to the caveman? Absolutely. But you can't quantify the risk to the reward. The reward coming out of it is far
right,
greater than the risk that you're going to put going into it, right?
right. Yeah, absolutely.
So okay, so let's go straight into it. You competed in year one, right?
Hmm.
What were your impressions going into it? Like, you know, here's this thing, Daniel and Caleb, they've talked me into this thing, and I'm a little bit worried or whatever. Like, what was that? And then what was your impressions coming out of it?
So going into it, Daniel was like, so Daniel, he's been a mentor to me my since I've met him, and I know his drive. I know he's a man of his word. I know you're a man of your word. So when I have these two guys coming up to me and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna do this competition, and we're gonna shoot things, we're gonna throw things, and we're gonna play some games," and I have an opportunity to beat Caleb Callahan in anything. I'm telling you right now, if we played lawn darts, I know for a fact you and I would get into an argument. So
Of course,
any
absolutely.
any kind of competition against some men that I know love to compete, and it's not going to be easy. It's going to push me, it's going to challenge me. I'm going to do it. So when he came up to me, he's like, "Hey, this is what we're doing." I was like, "Yes, like, let's do it." I really had no expectations of what was going into it. I thought it was going to be like five guys, and we were going to go out and we're going to flip a quarter, and okay, whoever shoots this gets a quarter. And it's like, okay,
And that's all it took for you to come. I love that.
that's
Like,
it. That's all I needed, man. That's it. That
all I
was it for
needed.
me. So then I get there, and like there's like t-shirts, there's like hats, there's designated officials, and I was like, whoa, like did did we plan this, or are these guys with us? And so but it was incredible. Like the I think the first day you guys intentionally gassed everyone, because I think by the end of day one there might have been 2 ounces of water left in my entire body. We were sweating, and like if
I
you
tell
look at
people
the
year one was way harder than year two. I tell people that they don't.
right,
You just don't.
well, if you look at the progression from like the amount of energy that was going into like the first rounds of games. And for those that don't know, first rounds we did like some volleyball, some basketball, ultimate frisbee, and like our first event was ultimate frisbee, and I've never ran so hard in my life. And then by the time I got to basketball, I was like, whew, might be a little bit out of shape, you know? So,
I love
so going in, I really didn't have much of an expectation or know what was really going on. I knew that some of my buddies were going to go out here and play some games. And then coming out of it, I was like, I'm going to get my butt in the gym because next year I'm not losing. And
it.
so that was kind of my
And
perspective
that's
of it.
what we want. We want men to like leave with that attitude, right? Like, I'm gonna be better before the
Yeah.
year. So I love that. All right. So what season are you of life are you in right now? I think this is important before we go into the next questions because we're always in a different season of life. The Lord can always have us in different seasons, right? And I find that depending upon the season of life we're in, oftentimes we give different responses. So for context and people listening in, like what season of life does Corbin find himself in?
So I think I'm finally in a season of growth in my life. I My wedding is a month from what's today? Tuesday? Month from Thursday.
Let's
Um,
go.
Hannah got back. She was gone for almost 10 months overseas, and I was gone, and so there was a lot of growth and struggle, I believe. We definitely we bought a house, planned a wedding while being 5,200 miles apart.
That's crazy.
So a lot of time and effort and dedication and tenacity had to be put into focusing on our relationship and what we wanted out of this. Um, and there were a lot of struggles in that. I tell Hannah all the time that we've gone through what a lot of people haven't, and we're stronger and we're better for it now. But we're finally getting to spend time together. We're finally getting to be together. So I think we've grown extremely close. We are finally moving towards a point in our lives where we're reaching financial security. We're starting to really see the fruits of our labor in the pain that we kind of went through and had to go through to get this point. And I'm very thankful for that experience because it was, if you can survive being 6 to 7 hour time difference and about 5,000 miles from your spouse for 9 to 10 months, I think you can make it through just about anything.
Amen, man. Amen. That's good. Good stuff. All right, you're in a back alley. All right, you're in a back
I'm
alley.
back
Six
alley.
destiny figures are approaching. They look like they're up to no good.
Uh-huh.
What is the one, and you only get one, the one quality of the man that you want with you to be on your back?
The most gunned.
The most gun. I love it. Yes, the most gun. I'll take it. I love it. You know, most people are like thinking that you're like, nope, he's strapping a lot.
Yeah, yeah. I want him to have an M4, two Glocks, and then a Ninja Star.
I love it. I love it. That was, mine. When I got asked that question, I was like, about 7'2", 350 pounds, solid.
Yeah, that's great. And can we arm him?
That's right. Can we arm him? I love it. I love it.
No. So, in all seriousness, the characteristic of the person next to me, I want someone that has the utmost loyalty. Like that's not going because it seems like things are about to get tough,
Mm,
right? And
yeah.
I don't care how big you are, how tough you are. I never want to be in a foxhole with someone that's going to run away from that foxhole when things get tough. But I know if someone's loyal and they're a man of honor, they're not going to leave me out there to face that battle alone.
That's good. That's good. I like it. I like it. All right. You got one Bible character, okay? And it's not just the character, it's the activity, it's the action
Mm,
that you read and you go, man, that right there is a man, right? So it's the
sure.
character and the action, not just the character. What is the one scene or story of that character and the action in the Bible that you'd be like, that's what a man is?
Job, easy. I think the book of Job, it's one of my favorite books to read, and it's hard to read because I sit there and as I'm reading the book of Job, it's like, could I do and have the faith and have the loyalty and have the determination that when God said, "This is my faithful servant Job," to continue, like if you read the story, his herds were being taken, his servants are being killed, and in that moment, rather than looking up and cursing the name of God, he praised him.
Mm,
And that's a man. That is a man. And if you read God's perspective, and it's something I live by, is I want God to have that perspective of me as well. Like, hey, look at Corbin. Watch, he'll get up. Watch him, he'll get up. And that is something I think that is the most definitive version of a man's man as it gets. He lost everything, and in every storm, he praised God for it. And that's something I struggle with. I'll be completely transparent. The slightest inconvenience, my computer wouldn't turn on this morning, and I'm like, you know,
You might have had to repent after you tripped down the stairs this morning, right?
I, not some words that should probably be said on a public platform, but
That's
it was,
right. That's right.
yeah,
I
no,
promise
but
I would have. If I would have fell down the stairs, I would have had.
right, yeah.
Now,
But
if I spilt my coffee while doing it, it would have been even worse.
dude, and like for me, and I feel like a lot of people go through it, but it seems like when it rains, it absolutely
Oh,
storms.
dude, amen.
But that story just takes it to a whole nother level. Like I get down in the dumps, I get upset, I get mad, I get frustrated when I have some minor inconvenience in my life. And this man lost everything and he thanked God for it.
That's good, bro. I love that. I love that story. I'm glad you chose that one. That's beautiful. All right, same thing, same exact question, but a movie character and a movie scene. That you
Oh
say,
man.
that's my character and that's my scene.
Oh, that's a good one. Um, hmm. A movie character in that, so, like, as far as, like,
An
someone
action
who
he took. So let's say, Braveheart when he rallies the people, or whatever, like an action a man took in a movie. It can be a small action, or a bigger, broader scene, and you're like, dude, that was a man move right there.
so, initially, what comes to my mind is in Band of Brothers, there's a character in there, and when they're battling in the Pacific, he realizes that, "Hey, my team here, we're getting low on ammo, we're getting overran."
Yeah,
And this dude takes the scorching hot barrel of a 240 and just starts spraying and running to save his team. He put his entire life on the line. His hand got, it would never recovered, but to put his entire team's lives on his back to go get them ammo, risked his own lives, and they all came out of it alive. They ended up killing over 100 people that night, to save that. And I think that defines the selflessness and the loyalty, the dedication, that is the embodiment of a man, right? No greater love than this is than for one to lay down his life for his friend. And
yeah,
I think that is that when I watched that, I got chills. I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
and I asked myself, like, I hope that I'd be that leader. And everyone, it's easy to say right here, like, oh, I'd do that.
Sure,
I'd do that.
sure.
But plans are only as good till that first round's fired.
That's right.
So,
I asked, so the special forces guy that I try to train with pretty often. I asked him a question one time, speaking into that, right? I said, man, I would like to know that when bullets started flying, I would move forward. I was like, is there any indication like that you have data that's like these people move forward more so than these people? And I found it interesting. He said, actually, there is. He said, contact sports. He said
mm,
people that play contact sports actually are more likely to move forward in combat than those who don't. He said, because at the end of the day, contact sports, it's still contact. It's just this contact kills you. But right, but
right.
there's something mentally and physically about that. Right. I mean, I guess if you're a coward and you play contact sports, it don't matter. You're still gonna be a coward, right? But I
Hey,
did
I still had fun.
that's right. I did think that was kind of interesting though that he said that, right? I was like, huh. Because I'm
Yeah, that is an interesting point. And I think a lot of times what you see as far as military, I've heard, is you get into these mindsets that things become so natural. You do them over and
yeah,
over and
yeah,
over, that the thinking is gone, and that fight or flight is there's no option. And what really I've what from my experiences, what drives people is I see my 4 or 5 best friends going over this hill, and am I gonna be the one that says my life is more important than yours?
mm,
So I think in a lot of those instances, more people than you would think will step up.
yeah. I like that. That's good. All right, you got a young man. He comes to you and he goes, Corbin, man, I need a practical thing that you do every day that helps you be more of a man? What is something I can implement into my life that helps you in your progress of becoming more of a man every day?
So one big thing that I think is huge is I try to reach out to someone, anyone, every single day and tell them why they're important to me. Whether that's Hannah, whether that's my mom, whether those are some of my best friends, whether it's my buddies on Xbox, just
Yeah.
having that moment to stop and be like, "Hey, bro, I really appreciate you being in my life. Hey, let's hop on a call because I do live far away now, or let's get on the game tonight. I just want to hear how you're doing." And in having those relationships and having those conversations and understandings of your general surroundings, it can open up a lot of opportunities to realize, like, hey, bro, you're struggling with your relationship. Well, how can I support you? Like, what can I do? Maybe let's go on a double date. Let's do something. And you'd be extremely surprised how much it means to those around you, and how just it overall improves what you're feeling or what you're thinking in that day and in that moment.
That's good, man. That's good. I'm gonna be looking every month for my text of, from Corbin. My
I'll add you to the list. Thanks for
I
not
want to be
beating
on
me
it.
at
I
anything.
want on the list. All right. So, all right, we're not being critical of God's bride because the church is the bride of Christ, and it is. We are not critical of her. We love her with all of her flaws and with all of her beauty, right? But in terms of ways in which the bride of Christ, the church, the assembly of God, that you would say, these are some things I feel like the church could do a little bit better in terms of, and I'm talking about the universal church, maybe not your church, right? In terms
Sure.
of
Okay.
ushering us from this boyhood to this manhood, like helping us grow up into this thing called a man. Like,
Right.
what would you say to that?
So I think a lot of times what happens is churches, from my personal experience, have gotten away as from the perspective of a sanctuary for the broken, but rather a museum for the holy. And I
Mm,
think as a man, um, personally going in with some burdens or things I struggle with, and seeing almost people on display, it makes me hesitant to be like, I'm so glad things are going great for you. I struggle with this.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I think having those tough conversations of like, hey, I I struggle with finances. I love spending money, man. I love it. But like having those conversations, and when you're surrounded by people with a mentality of like, yeah, I'm doing really good with finances. Let me help Corbin with finances, but Corbin, maybe you can help me with this. I struggle with this. And I feel like a lot of times we don't really see the church as that. We see it as more of a checkbox of, okay, I went to service this week. I feel better about myself. And I think that's hard. And you see that a lot with the overall church churches are getting more focused on, well, let's get more people in on Sunday service, but it's, you need to build relationships to enable the body, the bride of Christ, because it's a temple for people to lean on each other, not to brag about how great their lives are or how much they do or how much they don't do. So I think that's one thing that I of course I hate saying, here's the problem, give me like, I always think if you're going to give us a problem, there should be a solution. And my solution is creating more groups of people to do things like the Caveman Combine, because it's so much more than going out there and beating Caleb Callahan in a sport. It's creating a network of men that will, and they will, that are going to call you. They're going to ask you some pretty damn tough questions, and they're going to hold you accountable to what you say you're going to do.
Yeah.
And so I
It's
think,
a good thing it's not just about beating me because you didn't. So,
oh, God, I can't have anything. I can't have
get
anything.
some.
Eat it.
Get some. All right. You teed it up. I'm gonna hit it if you tee it
There
up.
you go. Yeah, that was a softball.
All right. Final thoughts. Final thoughts to tribesmen that are watching this, or people that are thinking about coming to the caveman, and they're like, like what are your final thoughts in 30 seconds that you would just lay it out there for
Take the leap.
them?
Get outside your comfort zone and push yourself to be to be that man, right? And again, it's more than just competing. You're gonna have an opportunity to fellowship with some some of the most incredible leaders that I've met in my entire life. And I'll never, I've, Caleb is a hard competitor. Daniel's a hard competitor, but I'm telling you right now, those are some people you want in your foxhole. Because I've had a lot of long conversations with both of them. I had several long conversations with my team while I was at the combine. You build a network like you'll never believe, and you add a lot of different weapons to your arsenal and the individuals that you connect with and lifelong friends. It sounds like short time, weekend, blah, blah, blah. You wouldn't believe how close you can get when you're on the verge of soreness and thirst and tired and all these things. You get close, and it's the sense of brotherhood that you create. Take the leap, go give it a shot. And if you're not comfortable with competing, find a way to volunteer, get involved. They're always needing support. Hey, can someone bring waters out here? Hey, can someone officiate a game of basketball? It's not very hard. There's going to be a whole lot of fouls no one's going to call. You just kind of got to stand there. So get involved, get a part of the community, and really, really tap in, because it's an incredible experience.
That's good, man. That's good. Well, Corbin, it has been an honor and a pleasure for me to get to watch you grow up from a freshman to where you are today, man. I am so proud of you. You are a beacon of hope. I always enjoy. Me and Daniel talk about you all the time, like
Oh man,
where you went to where you've become. It's a beautiful thing, man. So
yeah. Well, we need to get you up to North Carolina, and we'll go check out some Blackhawks.
let's
So
do it, man. I'm
let's do
in.
it.
Great to
All
call.
right.
I'll make it happen. All right,
All
brother.
right.
Appreciate
It
you,
was
man.
great connecting. Thanks so much.
See you, buddy.